Hey guys, Chuck Quinton here from RotarySwing.com, and today I'm going to talk about one simple change you can make in your golf swing that's going to create a lot more stability and thus consistency and even more power in your golf swing by just doing one different thing with your left knee. And for most golfers, they start getting into problems where they start to reverse pivot and things like that, and it's actually caused by how the lower body moves. And so if you have a tendency to reverse pivot or not have a lot of power in your swing, listen up, because if you're not paying attention to how this left knee is moving, this could apply directly to your swing. So what a lot of golfers do, most common with amateurs, is the left knee gets sloppy and they let it move too much. So during the backswing, this left knee kicks in like this, and we call this left side breakdown, when you can see this big kink in the left side of the body. So rather than having a really stable lower body that doesn't move that much, remember, you need your lower body to be like a foundation on a house. So it needs to be a big old oak tree, nice and stable. It's got to move, but it has to be relatively quiet. The more movement you add in your golf swing, the more variables you create, and the more variables create, the less consistent you're going to be. So golfers do this all the time. They either push from the left side to try and help them turn when they over-rotate their hips. There's a video on the website about what happens when you over-rotate your hips and how to stop it, so I won't talk about that here. But that's what they end up doing, and this left knee is broken down, and now you know that the left knee's got to get all the way back over here in the downswing. So the further you move it in the backswing, the further and faster you've got to move it in the downswing, and of course, that's just making it harder to repeat the same move. So what we want to do is have that knee move very little, and it moves in response to how the rest of your body's moving. It's not an action in and of itself. That means you shouldn't try and move your left knee. Your left knee is going to get moved by the rest of your body. So let's take a look at what happens next. So a golfer does this all the time. Left knee buckles in, breaks down. We got this big problem here. Now what they do is they say, oh, well, I realize I look like this at the top of my swing and this doesn't seem very powerful. So now I'm not going to let it move at all. So the next thing we see is this. Or they let that left knee only move forward. And those two things are kind of siblings. If I don't let it move at all, then I can't really shift my weight. And if I can't shift my weight and I create a lot of stiffness and tightness in my body, I've got all this tension that's not going to help me move fluidly. So they let it move forward a little bit, and that creates what is essentially going to be a reverse pivot by the time you get to the top, as you let this knee only move out over the toe. Neither one of those are desirable. So how should the knee move? Well, it's very, very simple. Don't think about moving your knee at first, and don't think about trying to hold it in place. Just leave it alone for a second. I want you just to work on rotating your upper body. And as I focus on twisting my rib cage, pulling that right shoulder blade back like we talk about in the takeaway video, my left knee is going to get moved. As my upper body rotates, it starts pulling everything around with it, including my hips, and then the left knee moves slightly in and slightly forward. It shouldn't be an exaggerated movement, and it shouldn't be something that you're consciously trying to do. I'm just rotating my body back, and that as my hips get pulled in because my upper body is rotating, that moves the knee in. The knee doesn't buckle in, it doesn't stay this way, it doesn't go that way. It just moves slightly in and slightly out during the backswing. If you can do that, you'll create a lot more consistency in your swing, because you're no longer trying to recover from the knee being buckled in like this and trying to snap back to the left. You're not trying to recover from a position where you didn't shift your weight at all. So remember, if you don't shift your weight going back, you have nowhere to go going down. So your transition is virtually impossible. It's very difficult to move fluidly and relaxed and athletically when you're all tight. So we've got to let that knee move, but it just needs to move naturally. Now, if you like this video, I'm going to show you a bonus video. It's going to talk about how to move your upper body and create that rotation that I was talking about in a very, very simple drill that you can do anywhere, anytime, including while you're sitting here watching this video. So click the link you see in the description or the one you see up on the corner of your screen and take a look at this bonus video. It's going to help you rotate properly just like a pro.